What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Trading Tribe. Today we are going to go through my most recent swing trade that I put on in the ES futures market, which is representative of the S&P 500. I was able to grab $6.1 thousand based on kind of an overnight type swing trade idea that I caught in the markets. I have exited on October 17th, so today's date, as of recording the video at least, depending on when you watch this, my exit was this morning. My entry was last night, October 16th, so it was really just an overnight swing trade. Wanted to put on the channel kind of how I found the idea, what the idea overall looked like, and then how I executed the trade, as well as kind of managed the position. I ended up taking the position you can see here on TrazeZella with 4 contracts. So as the trade began to work, you can see I did scale in. What I'll typically do is I'll have kind of my heaviest position at the bottom. So we'll see my first position was 2 contracts. Then I added one as it started working, and I added another as it started working. And then I ended up scaling out of all 4 at the same time near that all-time high level. How I kind of found this idea, really, you can see ES has been on a steady uptrend really all year long, especially these last few weeks, right? ES has been trending really, really well. I'll show on ThinkorSwim as well. Kind of my idea from like a level perspective first. So what I was able to notice was on here on the left here on this hourly time frame, we can see this uptrend for ES. We can see ES is really respecting that 50 moving average as well as that 100 moving average. So I will typically use these moving averages as kind of a key level as to where price can come back to, as well as where price can hold and bounce. So on an uptrend, right, I'll really be watching for these pivots around moving averages to understand, right, if this is a buying opportunity or if we need to be careful. So as you can see, based on yesterday's drop, right, we had a really, really nice drop on Tuesday of this week. And then really coming into Wednesday, we can see that ES really started holding that moving average, which caught my interest, right? Because this is one of those trades where you can take a really tight risk. You can have a stop loss just under that low. You can take that entry. And then obviously with this really small risk, right, we can have extremely nice reward. So this was like a 1 to 7 type risk to reward. If we go back to TrazeZella, the risk to reward evolved kind of over the trade, but I think it ended at about a 8.3 R. So I was risking $900 for 7,500 by the end of the trade. So really, really nice profit potential, especially being adjusted for risk. These are kind of my areas that I was targeting from a profit perspective, as well as a stop loss for kind of managing risk. And this is again kind of as the trade evolved. If we go back to ThinkorSwim as well, we can see we held that 100 really nice yesterday, kind of consolidated for a bit, and then we ended up breaking out of that 58.70 range and heading higher. And that's essentially when I began the trade. I essentially added as the trade was working with 2 more contracts. And then as we got very close to target, that's where I ended up taking the trade off. Here on the right, we can see the 1 minute as well. We had a completely vertical move. So it was one of those trades that was tricky, right? If you didn't take it as a swing trade, you're going to wake up and the trade's over, right? Because essentially we are already back at all-time highs. And so again, right, this is a really big benefit to swing trading, right? Not only was it a very easy trade to manage, I was able to get into it and just let that trade go. And then by the time you wake up, right, in this case, that trade was over. And we've actually had a lot of these moves where it's pretty vertical and pre-market. And so it's been a really nice kind of market for swing trading. If we go back to TrazeZella one final time and we go down to the running P&L, This was also a very clean trade in that sense. So when I typically will take these big size type swing trades, what I'll do is I'll wait to see how this profit curve looks. And you'll notice the second I entered the trade, essentially, I began in a small bit of red, but right about an hour in, right, we started climbing up P&L wise. So it was a very easy trade to hold, right? I wasn't in the red for too long. I was in the red for an hour. And then essentially after that, right, the trade began working really well. And that's essentially why I was comfortable adding and comfortable holding as long as I did, right, because of this clean P&L curve in the trade as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave those down below. Hopefully this was valuable to see how I was able to pull $6.1 thousand out of the ES futures market in one day or one overnight swing trade. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel for a lot more content like this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks everyone.